It was the dead of winter when I arrived at the secluded cabin. The snow-covered landscape painted a picturesque scene, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of serenity as I stepped out of my car. This Airbnb was my escape, my sanctuary from the chaos of the city and the suffocating grip of writer's block. I yearned for solitude, a place where my thoughts could roam freely, unburdened by distractions. Little did I know that my desire for seclusion would lead me into the depths of terror. The cabin itself was quaint and rustic, with a charming fireplace that crackled warmly. It exuded a cozy atmosphere, the perfect backdrop for creativity to thrive. As I settled in, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. This was my chance to break free from the chains of my stagnant writing career. I unpacked my laptop, ready to unleash the words that had been locked inside me for far too long. Days turned into nights, and I delved deep into my work, oblivious to the world outside. The isolation fueled my imagination, and my fingers danced across the keyboard, bringing my characters to life. But as the sun dipped below the horizon one fateful evening, the tranquility was shattered by a sound that pierced the silence. A creaking noise that reverberated through the cabin. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. I strained my ears, desperately trying to dismiss it as my imagination. But there it was again, a distinct creak, as if someone were walking on the old wooden floors. Fear gripped me, my mind racing with possibilities. Could it be the owner of the cabin checking in on me? Or perhaps a lost traveler seeking shelter from the cold? The thoughts swirled, but deep down, a primal instinct told me that something was dreadfully wrong. I mustered the courage to leave the safety of my study and ventured into the dimly lit hallway. Each step felt heavier than the last, the weight of uncertainty pressing upon me. The creaking persisted, growing louder, drawing me closer to its source. My breath caught in my throat as I neared the living room. And then I saw him, a shadowy figure, hunched over, his back turned to me. Panic flooded my veins, and I fought to stifle a scream. Who was this intruder, and what did he want? The air in the room turned frigid, as if the presence of this stranger had sucked away all warmth. I pressed my back against the wall, my heart threatening to burst from my chest. With a chilling slowness, the figure turned around, revealing a face twisted by madness. His eyes bore into mine, devoid of any humanity, and a wicked grin spread across his lips. I recoiled, horror coursing through my veins. I had stumbled upon a nightmare in the sanctuary I had sought. He lunged towards me, his intentions clear. I had become prey in his twisted game. Instinct kicked in, and I sprinted towards the front door, desperate for escape. Adrenaline fueled my every movement as I fumbled with the locks, my trembling hands struggling to find purchase. The man's footsteps thundered behind me, growing closer with each passing second. I could almost feel his icy breath on my neck, his deranged laughter echoing through the cabin. With one final push, the door swung open and I stumbled out into the freezing night. The biting wind clawed at my face, but I welcomed its sting. I ran, my legs carrying me through the snow, fueled by a primal instinct to survive. Panic and fear pushed me forward, my mind racing with thoughts of what horrors awaited me if the man caught up. My heart pounded in my chest, each beat a reminder of the perilous situation I found myself in. As I sprinted through the cold night, my lungs burned and my muscles ached. The snow-covered landscape blurred around me, my vision tunneling into a singular focus. Escape. The chilling wind whipped against my face, numbing my skin, but the adrenaline pumping through my veins kept me going. In the distance, a faint glimmer of light caught my attention. Hope surged within me, fueling my resolve to reach safety. It was a nearby cabin, a beacon in the darkness, offering the possibility of refuge. With renewed determination, I pushed myself harder, my strides growing longer, until I finally stumbled onto the porch, gasping for breath. I pounded on the door, my desperate pleas for help echoing through the silence of the night. The seconds felt like an eternity as I waited, my heart still racing, my senses heightened. Finally, the door swung open, revealing a concerned face, an elderly couple who had been startled by my frantic knocking. I stumbled inside, my body shaking with a mixture of fear and exhaustion. The couple ushered me to a comfortable armchair by the fireplace, wrapping me in blankets and offering words of reassurance. They listened as I recounted the nightmarish encounter, their expressions morphing from concern to horror as they absorbed the gravity of the situation. The couple called the authorities, their voices filled with urgency as they relayed the details of my harrowing escape. It turned out that the man who had invaded my sanctuary was not a lost traveler or a curious cabin owner, but a dangerous criminal who had been on the run, a predator seeking his next victim. I will never get back the safety I felt before that night. The innocence of that beautiful scene of crackling fireplace with the snow drifting outside in the gentle breeze will never again give me comfort. The story I was writing, now impossible for me to love, a reminder that terror and beauty live side by side.
Please turn off the light.
Okay, that's dots. We have a banshee.
I didn't think it would really do what I said.